Good morning, Jordan.
Hey John, how you doing?
I'm doing good. It's so fun to record this video with you. Tell our fans what might be interesting.
There's a whole lot that's new at the Division of Real Estate, but perhaps the most significant new change relates to informed consent.
Oh, informed consent. Tell us more.
Okay, well, the division has decided that there's a requirement that clients provide informed consent to their designated broker before that designated broker provides client confidential information to their supervising broker.
Okay, and let me be clear on the terminology. The designated broker is the broker who's working with the clients. It's not the head honcho who is running the brokerage firm.
That's correct. So Colorado follows a designated brokerage law, and so that simply means that the broker who is working with that client, the buyer or the seller, is designated, theoretically by the employing broker, designated to work with that client. And so answers to the supervision of their employing broker as well.
So the new concept is that the working brokers, the designated brokers, need to have the informed consent of their clients to pass on confidential information to the head honcho of the employing broker.
That's correct. Now, designated brokerage offers a bunch of advantages to a brokerage firm, including having another broker at the same brokerage firm with the counterparty in the same deal. So one designated broker at a brokerage firm might represent the buyer, another broker at the same brokerage firm might represent the seller. Those brokers answer to the same employing broker or supervising broker, and that can simply create conflicts.
Okay, so it's a cool thing for brokerage firms because it allows the brokerage firm to work both sides of the deal and
That's
wall off each of the working agents from each other, but it could create problems for the employing broker of the brokerage firm.
That's correct. And so the division has decided that it wants to make sure that clients provide informed consent to the brokerage firm before that designated broker shares client confidential information with the supervising broker.
Okay, that makes sense to me. So what are brokerage firms supposed to do in response to this?
Well, first, the brokerage firm needs to design some way to make sure they have informed consent from that client, that buyer or seller, before the designated broker shares client confidential information with the supervising broker. That informed consent has to be in writing. That's not a form the division publishes. So we've got to take some extra step to comply with the division's new policy on this.
Okay. And is our law firm helping brokerage firms create that form?
Yes. So there are a variety of solutions, but the law firm FJGG has a form suite for use for exactly this problem, to obtain informed consent from a client before that designated broker shares client confidential information with their supervising broker.
Okay. Can you give us a sense of what confidential information? Can you give us some examples of what confidential information is?
Sure. So, for example, from the perspective of a buyer, confidential information might include that the buyer is willing to pay more for a property, but really any confidential information about that buyer's, for example, motivations, circumstances, that's all client confidential information that now cannot be shared with a supervising broker without this new written form, informed consent.
Okay. And would this also apply to brokers who are involved in leasing, for example? Does a leasing broker who works with a tenant need to get informed consent? Does a leasing broker who's working with a landlord need to get informed consent?
The answer there is absolutely yes. This applies to all types of brokerage relationships, whether that's a buyer's agent, a transaction broker working with a buyer, all types of brokerage relationships.
So you gave us an example of what might be considered confidential information of a buyer. How about what's an example of confidential information for a seller?
Well, for example, confidential information for a seller might include that the seller is willing to accept less than the list price, that the seller is willing to accept financing terms other than those identified in the listing, So those are examples of client confidential information.
Okay. And what are we advising our clients about the timing of getting this disclosure? Does the working broker, the designated broker, just wait until there's a problem, or should agents be proactive and get this informed consent thing signed early in the relationship?
So agents should definitely get this informed consent thing signed early in the relationship, but to learn more, you'll have to watch our next video.
Okay. We'll catch you on the next video. In the meantime, remember our mantra. We live in a complicated world. Be careful out there.